From KWCH 12 Eyewitness News, breaking news.
Good afternoon. That breaking news, Wichita likes Ike. The airport will have a new terminal and a new name. In just the last hour, the Wichita City Council voted to change the name from Mid-Continent Airport to Wichita Dwight D. Eisenhower National Airport. Ann Meyer joins us live now from City Hall where the decision was made. Ann?
Well, that was not a unanimous decision, Brian. 2 council members voted against the move. The remaining 5 were for it, and that was enough for this motion to pass. As you know, the airport has been under construction for several months now as the city builds a new terminal. Soon the name on the outside will change. Those who were against the move brought up the fact that Eisenhower is not from Wichita, and they brought up the price tag. Some estimate the name change will cost the city of Wichita about $140,000, money that will come out of the general fund, but supporters of this decision say the new name is a game changer for the city.
It has been a long journey, and I feel like it's a victory for the people of Wichita and the people of Kansas, and I'm tremendously happy about it, and I hope other people who might have opposed will see that this is a really good move for us to make at this critical time, just like the council did.
Now, Harrison reminded me that her group put about $60 into this grassroots effort. Most of it was to buy these I Like Ike buttons that you've seen around town. So she's pretty proud of wearing this button today. I'll have much more on their grassroots effort coming up tonight on KWCH and KWCH.com.
All right, Ann Meyer reporting from downtown Wichita. And here's how the council voted. Along with Mayor Brewer, 4 council members voted in favor of the name change. They were Pete Meitzner, James Clendenin, Levanta Williams, and Janet Miller. Council members Jeff Blubaugh and Jeff Longwell voted against the change. And new at noon, some big news for the Shockers. As expected, undefeated Wichita State puts its stamp on the All-Missouri Valley team. The all-conference honors were handed out a short time ago, and 3 Shockers made the first team. Senior forward Clee Anthony Early making the squad along with sophomore guards Fred Van Vliet and Ron Baker. Early leads the Shockers in scoring and rebounding this season. Van Vliet leads the entire conference in assists, and Baker ranks among the best in points, steals, and three-pointers. Later today, one of those 3 is likely to be named Conference Player of the Year as well. Takil Cotton made the All-Valley second team and could easily have been a first-team choice because of his great defensive play this year. Coach of the Year won't be handed out till Thursday. Geez, I wonder who that should be. Gosh, is there any doubt that Greg Marshall's going to win that award? You'll hear that sound for real this afternoon, but don't be alarmed. It's just a statewide tornado drill. At 1:30, the sirens will blare and the weather radios will and cable broadcast providers will test their warning systems. And Merrill, at that time of year again for folks to start thinking about their tornado plan.
Yeah, exactly right, Brian. You have to be thinking ahead when it comes to severe weather. Have a plan in place. I always like to equate it to the Boy Scouts, you know, where they always talk about having a plan beforehand. Well, that's what you need to do. So this afternoon, or you know what, a pretty good idea actually, at dinner tonight. Sit down with the family, work out a plan. Where do you need to go if the tornado sirens blare? And then have a place to be able to meet afterwards so that make sure that everyone has just been okay after the storm. You know, get to the basement, lowest level of your home. We talk about it all the time during severe weather season, and the things to do, they have not changed. And no, you don't have to go to the southwest corner. Just somewhere below ground is the best. And no, do not open the windows to equalize the pressure. Don't worry, the pressure will take care of itself. The temperatures take care of themselves also. Here's where we started out this morning. No negative numbers like we had yesterday. In fact, you can see the coolest was overnight with a 4-degree low temperature in Winfield, Arkansas City, 5 for Medicine Lodge. We bottomed out at 8 in Wichita, while it stayed as mild as 27 degrees in Goodland. And it's been a slow but steady rise on the temperatures in the air capital so far today, going from 9 degrees at 6 a.m. We still haven't made it up to freezing yet, but we're getting closer with that current reading of 28 degrees. And it is much warmer as you head into western Kansas, particularly the northwest where there's no snow on the ground. It's 57 in Colby and a warm 59 degrees right now in Goodland. We'll see whether we're going to continue that trend of warmer temperatures coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, now the latest from Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin says Western nations are staging what he calls a coup in Ukraine. Putin is promising to use as much force as necessary to protect Russia Russians in Crimea. Russia is under international pressure right now to pull thousands of troops out of the southern Ukraine region. Putin says he won't be deterred by the threat of economic sanctions. In the meantime, the United States stands by Ukraine. That was the message today from Secretary of State John Kerry. He landed in the embattled country this morning to show support for the new leadership. Kerry left flowers at a shrine for those killed in protests and promised $1 billion in energy subsidies to Ukraine. Again, as we mentioned, the U.S. working on economic sanctions to try to force Russia to back down. The largest shopping mall in the country is getting bigger. The Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota is making plans to add a luxury hotel, an office tower, and more places to eat and shop, all for the bargain price of $300 million. The groundbreaking begins this month and will take about a year and a half to complete. Here's a live look now at the last day of Mardi Gras in New Orleans. This is Fat Tuesday. All the fun officially ends tonight at midnight, and then it's Ash Wednesday and, of course, the start of Lent. It's International Pancake Day, so out in Liberal, the annual race is underway. It started just a few minutes ago. We're waiting to see the results to see if Liberal takes the bragging rights over their pancake flipping friends in England. We'll try to get you an update later in the show. All right, of course, the big story we mentioned, too, in addition to the airport, is the Shockers. And as we bring in Merrill, pretty exciting there to have 3 guys make the first team. And as I said, could have been 4. To Kill Cotton, you can make a strong argument. He should have been on the team.
Yeah, why not all 5 while they're at it, you know? I mean, the Shockers just kind of took care of everything, obviously, this season. So we should have, maybe it should. Oh, except the 3-headed monster. How are you going to decide, right?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that, I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, that's okay. What counts most is team.
There you go.
Not the individual stuff. But you're right. I can't imagine anybody's going to get the Coach of the Year award except for Greg. So there you go. Well, it's a lot warmer out there today than what we had yesterday. And here's what things look like. Yep, we've got that Tuesday thaw going on. But some light snow looks like it's going to develop over parts of the state late tonight and tomorrow. Emphasis on light. And then it warms right back up on Thursday. All your forecast details just a couple minutes away.
Good morning. Warm for everyone today. Showers, storms, and some snow possible tomorrow. I'll explain.
A commute that's looking wonderful is in your future. We have a Skycam and a KDOT camera to prove it to you.
And good morning to you. It's 8 o'clock now. It's our 4th and final hour here on KSCW. And storms are over for Wichita, but the cleanup's still continuing. And we're going to check in with Emily Griffin because it's not snow plows that are plowing snow. It's getting rid of all this sand that's left over still.
It's everywhere. And an expecting mother receiving an unexpected surprise in the delivery room. Her story later. Good morning. We are calling this the pick day of the week. We've been telling you about it all morning long, and Mark is going to tell us why.
Yeah, fantastic day today, Mark.
Exactly. You know, we can call it a terrific Tuesday. We can call it a toasty Tuesday. Pick whatever alliteration you want, but it's going to be fabulous. Get out and enjoy. Morning clouds will give way to lots of sunshine and even warmer temperatures today than what we enjoyed on Monday. Showers and storms and maybe even some snow moving into Kansas late tomorrow night and on into Thursday morning. More on that in moments. Wind chills really right around the freezing mark. Temperature of 39 out the door this morning. 59 by noontime. Southwest winds at 10 to 20 and gusty. Where are we headed by 4 o'clock? 68. 59 tomorrow. Looks like lower 50s Thursday. One more mild day by week's end Friday, and then some much colder weather coming up this weekend. We'll take a look at those numbers in a few minutes. Right now, let's check in with Katie.
Thank you, Mark. We've got a quiet view of grain field behind me. Traffic, hardly anything at all out there right now, so very nice commute here in Wichita at K96 and Hillside. Traffic a little heavier, but again, nothing out of the ordinary that would concern you if you are headed out right now on K96. Now, right around this time, that K96 and 135 interchange, as well as the 235 135 interchange starts to get congested, but which way has not updated that at this point, so you should be clear as far as congestion goes there. Stick with us here for more updates, and of course, if you see anything on your drive and can tweet me safely, tweet me at KWCH Traffic.
The snow finally melted. The roads are clearing up, but all this salt and sand still out there, and it's a mess.
Yeah, it is a mess. It's not just on the roads either. It's on sidewalks and right along the curbs, too. Emily Griffin has been checking things out all morning to see how the city is cleaning this up. Emily?
Well, good morning, guys. Yeah, we're still live in downtown Wichita, where the city crews have been up all night. They started at 11 o'clock last night, sweeping the sand off the road. Take a look here by the curb. This is where a lot of the sand used to be. You can see that's pretty clear, so that's good news. They're starting here, and they'll be following along those emergency snow routes. But I tweeted out this morning about the sand sweepers, and several of you mentioned the sidewalks, and this is what we're talking about. This leftover sand and kind of gravelly stuff hanging out here. This is what's still on the sidewalks, and people are complaining, saying that's an issue for cyclists and people walking, and even motorcycles. The little bit that's still left over, that can be a problem. That's something that we're going to be asking the city about later this morning, so you'll definitely want to stay tuned to KWCH as we get those questions answered for you later in the day. Kara, Brian, back to you guys.
Doctors say if your baby loves to eat, they may be more susceptible to obesity later in life. That's in this morning's Health Watch. Researchers in London say they studied a group of twins for over a year. Doctors say in each case, the twin who had the better appetite ate more, grew faster, and then weighed more, which researchers say puts them at a greater risk for obesity later in life. A special pacifier is helping premature babies this morning. It rewards preemies when they suckle properly. The pacifier plays a song for the baby when they do it right, a song recorded by the infant's mother. Researchers say babies given the pacifiers are taken off feeding tubes sooner than those who are given traditional pacifiers.
Now, the latest from the Kansas legislature, that's where lawmakers are considering a bill that would give teachers and caregivers more authority to spank children. If this passes, it would allow up to 10 strikes with the hand. It would also allow smacks hard enough to leave redness and light bruising. Supporters of the bill say children are losing respect for authority. Critics of this say it's just too outdated. The bill does not allow the use of a belt or switch. A state lawmaker proposing some changes to the state's safe haven law, and this comes after Wichita police released a picture of a woman who left her newborn child at a hospital. The bill is expected to be presented to the Kansas House, and it would protect parents from having to reveal identifiable information about themselves. All right, so far a lot of chat about kids this morning, but next story is an example of even with the latest technology, you can't predict everything, especially when it comes to babies.
Yeah, can you say surprise?
Oh.
One Mississippi mom expecting 3 babies. She thought she was having triplets, but instead she got 4.
Ooh.
Yeah, Alexis Christoforous tells us more about this very rare surprise.
Kimberly Fugate was ready for triplets. Instead, she got 4 bundles of joy, a set of identical quadruplet girls.
They had got the 3 out, and they said, more feet. And more feet. That's all I heard, and I said, no.
Then the 42-year-old Mississippi mom had to break the news to her husband.
I told him to count the bands on my arm. And that's how I told him there was 4 instead of 3.
Baby Kaylee was apparently hiding behind her sisters Kenley, Kristen, and Kelsey during numerous ultrasounds.
It was an instant shock, but I'm proud of her.
The odds of giving birth to identical quadruplets is quite rare, especially since the parents did not undergo in vitro fertilization. Dr. Jeffrey Yu is an obstetrician in New York.
In this kind of case where everything kind of happens from a single embryo, I mean, the odds of that have to be 1 in a few hundred million.
Kim, who already has a 10-year-old daughter, says 5 kids are enough for her.
This is it.
The quadruplets were born 13 weeks premature. They're all in good health, but will stay in the hospital for observation. The babies were originally due in early May. Mom Kimberly is hoping to take them home in time for Mother's Day. Alexis Christoforous, CBS News.
Fugate says she was prepared for the triplets, but calls the surprise of daughter number 4 a blessing. I had a friend who had twins, and when she first found out, she started crying.
Yeah.
It's such a shock, and it's overwhelming because it's a lot of work.
Well, it's a lot of work to take care of one baby, and then you're going to have 4. Well, and I imagine it was probably hard for her and her husband to brace themselves for the 3 originally, and then, okay, we got that. We got our arms around that now. Another one?
I know. But after 3, I mean, does it really matter? Kidding.
All right, Text Me 12 keeps you connected with breaking news, weather alerts, sports updates, and more on your phone. If you'd like to continue with Text Me 12, you need to resubscribe. New subscribers can sign up as well by going to kwch.com. Follow the links on the click the banner rather, and follow the links to sign up.
Well, coming up during our 8 o'clock hour, Tanganyika is going to be here. Matt is bringing us a surprise today, so you have to tune in at 8:30 to see what he's got in store.
Okay, and at 8:48, the cast from Godspell will be here to sing to us a little number and tell us a little bit more about an upcoming performance. When we come back, though, the latest on the games from Sochi and who's winning the race in Olympic gold.
Oh, beautiful. I pictured it right now.
Expect more on KSCW. This is Eyewitness News This Morning in high definition. Online at kwch.com. Follow KWCH on Facebook and Twitter. Expect more from KWCH 12. This is Eyewitness News at noon in high definition. Online at kwch.com. Follow KWCH on Facebook and Twitter.
Now, we are following two big stories today. The Kansas Supreme Court issues its long-awaited ruling on school funding. We are looking into what it means for your kids. But first, we are just minutes away from tip-off in St. Louis. The Shockers play Evansville in their first game of the MVC tournament. Lauren Seabrook is at a watch party here in Wichita. We're going to go live to her in just a moment. But first, fans who made that trip to Arch Madness take some time to get pumped up before the big game. Fans greet Coach Greg Marshall at a pep rally that happened about an hour ago. They are cheering for undefeated Wichita State, hoping this year leads to the first MVC tournament win for the Shockers since 1987. The Shockers are 17-point favorites in today's game against Evansville. Jen Bates is with the Shockers and the fans as they get ready for the big game. She's already in Scott Trade Center where the game's about to tip off, but shared this just before she got there.
Well, hey guys, you can see the remnants of the Wichita State pep rally just behind me. Wichita State playing Evansville at noon today. The pep rally ended around about 10:30 or so, 10:20. So fans still buying their merchandise before they head over to Scott Trade Center to watch their Shockers take on Evansville and look for their first Valley title since 1987, their first ever title in St. Louis. We'll, of course, have complete coverage of the game coming up tonight at 4, 5, and 6, and as always online at kwch.com.
Thanks, Jen. Some of us can't travel to Missouri to support the Shockers, so Lauren Seabrook is at a watch party at a local business. How are the crowds there, Lauren?
Well, Jade, yeah, because tip-off is so early, a lot of people are going to be at work and they're going to have to miss the game, but not the employees here at ISI Environmental. They're lucky enough to get to watch the game at work. You'll see about 30 employees in here right now eating pizza and having pop, and you can see there is a lot of black and yellow going on in this room. Not just the t-shirts, but check out all the decorations in here. They've got a big screen up on the wall, and you know, it is a little quiet in here, but I have a feeling that's going to change once the game starts going on. If your business is doing something fun during the game today, we want to see pictures. Make sure you take some pictures, send them into our newsroom, where you can also post them to our Facebook page.
Now, lots of black and gold here as well at KWCH. Now, if you aren't able to watch the game, make sure to catch all of our Shocker coverage online at kwch.com. You can also follow Jen Bates and Bruce Hurdle live in St. Louis on Twitter. We now know what the Kansas Supreme Court thinks about how the state is funding Kansas schools. In short, the court says the state created an inequality among schools with its funding changes starting in 2009. Pilar Pedraza just spoke with the school district's lawyer about today's ruling. Pilar, what does he say is going on with our kids?
Well, he calls today's ruling a big win for school children across the state, even nationwide, because a lot of other states with similar constitutions look to Kansas procedure and follow our footsteps. He said that the ruling is good news especially for disadvantaged students, those who are poor, who have trouble with learning issues, and our English language learners, for example. This is a 110-page ruling, and here's a quick synopsis of what it says. In short, the court ruled the state's funding changes created an inequality between poor and rich districts that violated the state constitution's equality requirement. The court gave the state until July 1st to fix those problems, or the courts will fix them for the state. However, the Kansas Supreme Court said the lower court used the wrong test in determining if the state met the constitutional requirement of providing an adequate education and ordered the lower court to rule again using a different test.
Proposal
Schools
still has
say
to be
that the funding cutbacks and formula changes the state made starting in 2009 have lowered the quality of education in Kansas, limiting student options for additional help, increasing class sizes, and ending summer school options in many districts. They say today's ruling is good news.
But the overall result is going to be equity and adequacy in public funding of public education, kindergarten through 12th grade in Kansas. So it is a huge step, and there's one more step left to go.
Now, from here, I am headed out to speak with one of the lawmakers who sits on the Senate Education Committee to talk with him about what he thinks about today's ruling and how it will affect legislation. We'll also be hearing from the governor later this afternoon. I'll have all of that and more coming up on Eyewitness News at 4, 5, and 6 today.
Thanks, Pilar. Governor Brownback released a statement on the ruling today, saying this is a complex decision that requires thoughtful review. The governor says he'll have a briefing with the Attorney General on this decision and is going to hold a press conference on the matter later today.
Well, outside across Kansas, depending on where you're at, you're either cooling down with gusty north winds or you're nice and mild with more clouds and a south breeze. Let's check out the conditions across the area, and you can see for yourself very mild over parts of eastern Kansas. Middle and upper 50s for Emporia and Topeka. We've got 53 in Wichita right now, but we're looking at some 40s in parts of western Kansas, including 46 in Hays. Compared to yesterday at this time, in Goodland, we are 16 degrees cooler. Wichita, we are 19 degrees warmer. It's already 25 degrees warmer than what it was yesterday at lunchtime in Emporia. And as we check out the winds, you can see across eastern Kansas, we have that southerly breeze. You get to west of Great Bend, wind is out of the north and northeast, and it's quite gusty. Some of those gusts up over 30 miles an hour. Let's check out the view in Kansas. First stop will be Grainfield. As we look at Capitol Federal Skycam 12 there, we've got mostly sunny skies, but some clouds on the horizon. In Wichita, still a mostly cloudy sky. And our noontime temperature 53 degrees. As we look at the humidity, it's at 56%. South winds gusting and the pressure is falling. Now the wintry weather set to move back in for tonight. Winter weather advisories out for southwest Kansas. Could see up to 2 inches of snow. We'll be talking more about that with Future Track coming up.
All right, well, the Shockers tipped off at 12:05, and as the Shockers enter that tournament, we are getting some great photos in from you. This one is a personal favorite. Check out this picture from Rhonda Moore. She sent this in of her grandson, Austin, who is just 5 days old. Rodney, you can see Austin. He was resting up for the big game today.
Sleep angry.
Sleep angry, yes, exactly. Very cute. Plus, a business right here in Wichita, as many I'm sure, putting up some Shocker pride for all to see. If you'd like to see your photos here or online, make sure to send those to us at photos@kwch.com. And Lauren had mentioned that as well. We're getting some great photos in.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks quite happy right about now. Would love to have another TV in here somewhere.
I know. Shockers tipped off at 12:05, so it's just the very beginning.
Yeah, it's just getting going out there, and our warm stretch of weather, well, hasn't quite got going yet. Nice day today, but we're going to see our temperatures cool off for the first half of the weekend. We'll talk all about that forecast coming up here in just a little bit.